On a discussion board on Reddit, I came upon this anecdote. This was the message that was delivered by the gentleman. I identify as a person who leans to the right. I was born in the state of California, and I currently make my home in this state. I went to mgtow before I had even heard of the town before I went there. I had been misled by too many women, and I was weary of cleaning up after them, so I decided to become a full-time member of mgtow. Your knowledge, which I discovered, was crucial in assisting me in bolstering my conclusion. Several different observations have been made with regard to females. In point of fact, I discovered their location as soon as I got home. At work and in public, I saw that female coworkers and strangers paid an increasing amount of attention to me. At first, the fact that women were even interested in having a conversation with me was completely incomprehensible. When they speak to me, they sometimes even stutter, but now that the tables have been turned and they must demonstrate that they are worthy of my attention, my poker face causes them to fumble and second-guess themselves. I'm also able to confirm that a few nines have come up to talk to me. Despite the fact that I have only dated 5 women in the past, all of this has made me realize what a fool I was for seeking women who were not deserving of me. I had at first thought that my new way of life would be met with criticism. Nevertheless, up to this point, the response has been largely supportive, and a few ladies have even expressed agreement with me. I don't go out on the weekends either, and if I have any downtime, I'll either hit the gym or curl up with a good book. I feel obligated to point out that it is completely worthwhile. I am so much more free than my married friends, and I have so much more time on my hands. And when I was with my girlfriends who also had girlfriends, we either talked or listened to them complain about their lives for the majority of our time together. Even a few guys have mentioned to me their interest in pursuing that way of life as a career. When we talk about mgtow, people start to see things my way and agree with what I say. When people started asking me why I didn't have a lady in my life or why I was single, I would simply tell them that I was tired of dating or looking for a partner, and that one day I decided to just live by myself instead of continuing those activities. This brings an end to my tale. In my opinion, this is a great illustration of how a man can increase his value by deprioritizing his relationships with women. If you were to pay attention to those women, particularly the 9s and 10s, they would immediately lose interest in you. This is inherent in the female species. Unfortuitously, what often ends up happening is that women have a hard time accepting the fact that some men will simply turn their backs on them. It has nothing to do with anything that actually takes place. A straight man has never been known to turn down a woman. Therefore, it comes as a surprise to them when it does occur to them. It makes people want things that they simply cannot have at this time. The majority of these women also have problems with their relationships with their fathers. When a man ignores her, childhood memories are triggered, she is reminded of times when she was ignored, and the two of them find themselves becoming increasingly drawn to one another. They are really curious to find out the reason why the man is uninterested in her and treating her in such a dismissive manner. A full-blown crisis arises for women whenever a man treats them in such a manner that shows they are of no importance to him. They argue that if they are insufficient for one man, then it is possible that they are insufficient for other men as well. In addition to this, they will place the blame for their own insecurities on you and point the finger at your homosexuality. To put it more succinctly, ignoring women is bad for the brain. They will make an effort to prove their value to you in some way. And when you are unattached, happy, and successful in life, it's like carrying around a mirror that reflects back the fears that women have about themselves. In point of fact, women do all in their power to stop such men from disseminating accurate information about the nature of females. For instance, when men assume the role of the monk and begin a conversation about the nature of women, the vast majority of female listeners immediately become defensive and may even accuse male listeners of being sexist. They criticize men for living their lives in a way that excludes women. They are afraid of the damage that you are capable of causing as a content bachelor. If there are any single women out there who agree with this man, you are hurting their chances of meeting a decent person. And reassure him that his way of life is okay, as well as the fact that they are validating him through their actions. Despite the fact that he is difficult to reach, they want to initiate the beginnings of a relationship with him. When a woman's entire life is turned upside down, she is unable to remain calm and composed, especially if she is attractive. Because a heterosexual man did not like her, she starts to question even the most reliable authority she possesses, herself. Her internal feelings never alter. Outside, she acknowledges that you are correct in your assessment that she is losing her mind since a man ignores her the most of the time. You will additionally be vilified. People would automatically believe that you have a hatred for women if you tell them that you are going mgtow or that you are no longer interested in chasing women. I mentioned this earlier. These females are making an effort to confine these males in order to prevent their message from spreading and tarnishing their reputations. Demonetization will also occur as a consequence of using the term mgtow. At YouTube, there are a lot of women in leadership roles, including the CEO, who is also a woman. Regarding this subscriber's story, you can easily imagine the kinds of rules that would be implemented if women were in command of the government. The fact that he is not actively spreading the information is the primary reason why there is not much resistance. They claim that he is an isolated man who does not have any real means of speaking with other men about the things that are going on in his head and heart. In my opinion, mgtow has been around since the beginning of time. The key distinction is that it has now developed its own ideology as well as its own vocabulary and set of acronyms. This is the part that women struggle with the most due to the fact that all of its followers got together and spread the word throughout the internet at the same time. In this day and age of the internet, rumors and ideas may be easily acquired and compiled, which contributes to the simplicity with which they can be spread quickly. Women are more likely to be aware of the potential power of gossip to discredit an argument and propagate ideas. They are aware that gossip that specifically targets them poses a substantially greater risk to their safety since it reduces the worth others place on them in the eyes of the world. Something about them makes them less appealing, which in turn reduces the likelihood that they will be able to attract white knights. In the past, it was possible to force a man to marry, but once they did, the guy continued to hold the position of head of the family. In today's society, a guy can be pressured into getting married, and then his family can be taken away by the government if he does so. Intelligent and successful men are slowly but surely becoming more aware of the various movements and policies that work against them. These are the men who put in the most work and have the highest expectations of you. They have sufficient intelligence to prevent their lives from being ruined because of women, or they may choose to concentrate on getting into the top 20. They could be able to advance their careers in the fitness industry. These have the most motivation to oppose mgtow women because they are the women who have been radicalized by feminist groups to the greatest extent. That, in my opinion, is really wonderful. He can now devote more time to activities such as reading and simply appreciating life. He is able to work out, which is only one of the many ways that he is bettering his life. While the other couples are busy working extra hours to save up for a house and bickering over their future, he is devoting his time to activities that are more beneficial to society. While the guy who is married is going through hell just to be banged once a week, this other guy is out there increasing his vocabulary and growing six-packs. The goal of modern society is to make it more difficult and expensive to lead a life as a bachelor in the hope that fewer people will choose to do so. For this reason, I recommend that all men get a part-time job so that they can have more time to enjoy their life. If there's a way to accomplish both of these tasks with a single action, that would be excellent. As a result of the fact that so many people don't put away enough money for their retirement, you need to make this a top priority. Since it is still conceivable, you might even decide to buy a home for yourself. If you cut your costs in this way, you will be able to buy better real estate, which will increase your financial value as a man and make you more attractive to women. My own zany vision involves owning a big number of different houses, transforming them into vintage rentals, and operating tours of the properties. I will conduct the demonstrations with females in attendance. There is a lot more to life than caring about the ladies, so be sure you can provide for yourself and don't forget to have fun. It's normal for your life to appear to revolve around women when you're a young man, but you should take the advice of more experienced men and refrain from spending your time on them. Never worth the price that was paid. You don't realize how much there was to accomplish in life until you get older and more mature, but the reason you didn't do any of it was because you were so preoccupied with that one girl in the gym.